there had already been several closing remarks, so maybe I could say thank you and goodbye, but I'll add something with my point of view. Well, first we heard Commissioner Kallas, and he mentioned that transport is the backbone of the internal market, and internal market is the most important thing for the whole EU, and that's what we always have to take in mind if we talk about the future of transport, what we did today. And we found out that we really need all modes of transport. I think we could easily find this out when the volcanic ash cloud affected all the transport in Europe. For example, some goods didn't arrive BMW in Munich, and they had to change the whole production, and so it kind of stuck, and it wasn't only BMW, but I just know this example. So we have to develop all the modes of transport in a sustainable way, of course. We must reduce greenhouse gas, that's what Mr. Del Beke mentioned, and well, you showed us, and we know that transport causes a lot of emissions, and we really have to try to be better in this kind. But it's a question how, and now I try to make it brief, as you see. I come to Mrs. de Vlieger already. You proposed that we should kind of educate as well as the car industry, as the car users. I don't know whether this is really the only right way. Of course, we should look for cars that are more sustainable, which need less energy, but I wouldn't like as a liberal to forbid in future to have big cars if people want them. We must look for even bigger cars who can run with less fuel, for example, and more energy friendly. Of course, it's a question of education for the users that smaller cars are more efficient and more environmental friendly. I think a big solution is not in avoiding transport, as you mentioned it. That's not the problem, that's not the solution, because people want free movement and need mobility, and that's something we really would like to keep for the future in Europe as well. So I think instead of avoiding transport, we should look for example for urban mobility, which could be changed in a better way to more, maybe even electric driven bicycles or so. It could avoid some cars in the cities, and in the future of transport report that just our colleague Mathieu Grosch did, he showed up that 72% of the people lived in cities right now, and 84% of the population will be in the cities in 2050. So it's an increasing amount of people who will live in the cities in the future, and of course that's a big deal we can make with all those mobility users to do it in a more environmental friendly way. Then it was Mr. Kossak who changed a little bit our policy or developed it in a better way. And then you mentioned, Mr. Kossak, that from road to rail is an aim for politicians already for several decades, but not enough had been done. And you mentioned as well that the corridors need money, and where there should be money, it's a black hole. That's what you said. And well, in this regard, I must say, if we talk in the Transport Committee right now about future of transport, developing of corridors in Europe, developing of TEN-T and so on, we always have big visions what should be done and what would be needed, for example, for rails and for inland waterways, and then we look at our budget and we see there's nothing. And so that's why Commissioner Kallas, he is looking for a special kind of funding he could create using PPP as well as the few money that's in the budget already now, and maybe have a more creative way of generating more money to this infrastructure we really need for our future. So, yeah, a conclusion, transport will always be necessary for the European Union. We look for a more sustainable way of having all modes of transport integrated in future. And we are looking for money. If anybody of you has an idea how we could generate more money for this infrastructure, we are very pleased, I think, we politicians, to know your answers. But okay, we have to try our best. And again, like Lena, I thank you all for coming. I thank all the speakers for your contributions, for your presentations. And yeah, I hope we have a good day today and a good future in transport. Bye-bye.